free unpaired electron, especially this one. H2O2 is also dangerous because it gives rise to OH. So this unpaired electron, if it was paired with opposite spins, it's all right. But because this is unpaired, it will attack the double bonds, this PUFA in the methylene bridge over here, methylene bridge, and it would damage this phospholipid from here. When this is weakened, the cell membrane is weakened, and so the start of disease, aging, maybe malignancy, etc., etc. So vitamin C has got a role of antioxidant. It's an antioxidant. How? Because vitamin C transfers its hydrogen to vitamin E, TOCO. It reduces vitamin E. And vitamin E in turn reduces this lone pair by providing it with this electron from this hydrogen atom. So it becomes paired, and so this process of the chain reaction is terminated, and the oxidant effect of these reactive oxygen species is also terminated. So it is good for health. That is why we have got vitamin E where there is liability of maximum damage, that is in membranes. Vitamin E is present in membranes, where? In the lungs and in the RBCs. It is present where there is high PO2 levels. So this is vitamin C replenishes vitamin E. So this was about the biochemical role. It has a reducing agent, I told you. Ferric iron in the diet is reduced to ferrous so that it's absorbed, taken part in hemoglobin formation. Then comes hydroxylation of proline and lysine to hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine. Hydroxylysine. So it forms hydroxylation. It forms hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine. So that they form strong bonds. And so the type 4 collagen, which collagen? Type 4 collagen, which surrounds the blood vessels and tunica adventitia. So you've got a strong covering on the blood vessels. So little chance of bleeding. That is why if this collagen is improper, because hydroxylation of the proline and lysine is not taking place, because vitamin C is deficient in diet, so there would be, the early sign would be bleeding. And which part of the body are the blood vessels more exposed? This part, this part, this part, this part, or which part? Obviously this part in the gums, because it is only in the gums that blood vessels are very much near the surface. So a little bit of excoriation or rubbing with brush would very easily injure them and they would be bleeding, especially in those who are predisposed. So the earliest sign of vitamin C deficiency is bleeding gums. Bleeding gums. Yeah. Now, since steroid, bile acid, 12, tryptophan, and the other antioxidant role that I just told you. Now, talking about that, what are the clinical presentations when there is deficiency of vitamin C? I told you the deficiency of vitamin C leads to a disease called as scurvy, and the earliest sign is bleeding gums. So the earliest sign is bleeding gums. So deficiency of vitamin C. One is bleeding gums. Number 2, subperiosteal bleeding. Number 3, bleeding in joints. I've told you anemia, etc., etc. Now, anemia and then different things. So what these things can come together to form a disease called as scurvy. Scurvy. So what happens? Why is bleeding in the gums? You know that if you see the blood vessel, it's lined by endothelial cells. Similarly over here, endothelial cells. So this is the blood vessel, okay? And blood vessel, this is tunica intima. The endothelial cells are lying on the basement membrane. Then you've got tunica media, and in small amount of muscular tissue. And the last of it, on either side, would be tunica adventitia. This one is the outer topmost layer, like a tire on a tube. Yeah, this one is the outermost layer. So this is made up of collagen. This is tunica adventitia. This is made up of collagen type 4. Collagen type 4. It is this collagen that is defective in vitamin C deficiency, because I told you previously that hydroxylation of proline and lysine is not taking place. So this collagen type 4 is weak. When this is weak, a little bit of excoriation will, these are the RBCs, so this is the blood, so the blood would ooze out, so this is bleeding gums, bleeding gums. First indication of scurvy. Then you know that, so this is bleeding gums, this is the first indication of scurvy, vitamin C deficiency. Then you know that bones are supplied, covered over by periosteum, periosteum, and under the periosteum are the blood vessels which supply blood. So if the tunica media, tunica adventitia is defective, this is defective, it means defective. If the tunica adventitia is defective and there is bleeding around the bones, well, there would be pain over there. And if there is bleeding in the joints would be held in semi-flex position like this, all the joints, and the patient would just be held up in this posture, frog position or whatever you call, and unable to move because hemarthrosis, bleeding in the joints is hemarthrosis. The patient would be in grave trouble, unable to move. Just imagine, cannot move around, cannot go even to the washroom. So, what a pitiable state. Bleeding in joints, etc., etc. Why? Because there is defect in collagen synthesis. Why defect in collagen synthesis? Because there is no hydroxylation of the proline and lysine of the collagen. So, a painful, agonizing death. What a pity. And what is the treatment? 1 to 2 oranges per day. About 2 citrus fruits per day. This is the treatment. So, vitamin C is so important. 2 citrus fruits per day, that's all. And you can save the person from scurvy. Sometimes even this ribs would show small nodules. It was called as Barlow's disease. For an infant up to the age of 1 year, severe scurvy, severe vitamin C deficiency. See some nodules over here in the costal margins, called as Barlow's disease. And this is also called as scorbutic rosary, small nodules. So this was about vitamin C.